Alright, so here we go. We're at a Morrowind review. This is requested by Nemi23. It's the highest rated request on the server, and it's done by SsethTzeentach. SsethTzeentach. Okay. I suck at saying his name. I'm sorry. I apologize for this. I suck at this. Anyhow, so, this is, I don't know, the fifth or sixth review I've watched from him, and they've all been absolutely horrific. I can't wait to see what this is going to be. My side's going to be in stitches. That's just generally the way this goes. My mother-in-law found me this shirt. This is the first time I'm wearing it on camera. I think I might have worn it sometime or another before now, but whatever. The Orky Decision thing is basically a whole bunch more Daca. Here we go.
Hey people, Seth here. Today, I'll be reviewing the Elder Scrolls free Morrowind. It's been years since the Outlanders came in and conquered our lands. Every day since, I've been persecuted for my superior beliefs and culture. If it weren't for the Imperial scum, I'd be happily eating salt rice and kwama eggs for breakfast every day and dying of blight by the ripe old age of 30. Only you can comfort me in these troubling times. From an uneducated glance, Morrowind might look like your typical open-world sandbox RPG of the early 2000s. However, first appearances are deceiving. Morrowind is actually an RPG about reincarnating yourself to overthrow an order of free gods worshipped collectively as the tribunal because they betrayed you in your past life in order to abandon their mortality.
Okay, to be honest with you guys, I ever only played Skyrim. I didn't play Oblivion. I didn't play Morrowind. I should address these, but then again, I suck. You guys know this. So this, of course, like most people, I read a couple of wikis when it comes to, Elder Scrolls and stuff like that, because I did play Skyrim, I did play some ESO, but, yeah, that was way back when. I can't remember even the class I was playing, but me and this one guy got in a 20-minute fight because he kept on healing and I kept on healing. It was ridiculous.
One of them, Vivek, impaling you through the chest with his gigantic penis sword. Meanwhile, another man betrayed by the tribunal has lived on past death, driven mad with divinity, and also has a piece of pottery permanently stuck to his head. Inside a steamy volcano mountain, he plots to overrun the continent by influencing the dreams of bitter, dark elf nationalists unhappy with the state of political affairs, turning their dreams into reality as their face cavity collapses, grows a mouth proboscis, and eventually blooms into a full set of eyes and tentacles, ascending as a hunchbacked cephalopod hellbent on genociding all other races off the face of Morrowind and restoring their native homeland to its former glory. You, however, know nothing about this, or the Nerevering prophecy you will one day fulfill. You're just a prisoner on a boat left to rot. Instead, you've been granted pardon for your crimes by order of the Imperial Emperor. In exchange, you'll be working with the Imperial Intelligence under Caius Casadus, an Imperial agent who, over the course of the story, is dishonorably dismissed from his post because he can't contain his crippling crack cocaine addiction. This might
What? Okay.
sound like a lot to swallow, but when you consider that a person swallows on average 5 clockwork spiders each year in their sleep, this
I didn't need to know that. I just did not need to know that.
doesn't seem so bad. Aside from the main story, the lore and background of the Elder Scrolls universe is thoroughly explained, documented, and communicated to you throughout the course of your play. Most of the lore for Morrowind was written in a single week, while the main author went on a sleepless amphetamine binge, surprising absolutely nobody. And that's where it shines best. Morrowind is the most authentic alien setting ever put in games, and second only maybe to Planescape Torment. When everything is so bizarre, nothing is bizarre. Everything put in front of you is so genuine and sincere, you never question it. So maybe the best showcase of a game and the best way to communicate why it's so amazing is just telling about all the crazy shit I encountered. Like, let's start with the main diet of Dark Elves. Eggs. Really fucking big eggs, which are laid by gigantic kwama queens under the earth. Sometimes people steal eggs from the mine. They're killed on the spot without trial, since food is precious in this region. If a kwama queen dies, the hive fails, and the local villages depending on them undergo a famine. There's technologically advanced dwarven ruins everywhere, complete with clockwork spiders, mechas, and Jewish ghosts, which keep reminding you about the 6 million, but no trace of a...
Why? Why? Oh god, it's raining outside. I'm hoping that it doesn't come through. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but it might get worse. I hope it doesn't.
The dwarves themselves. Why? Because they built God. And since building God is a pretty big endeavor, it's anybody's guess where they went. Either to a completely different realm or instantly vanished from existence. There's a temple in the game with an imprisoned Daedra bound to a religious relic. He's completely chill, calm, domesticated. Unless you provoke him, of course. If you keep taunting him, he finally snaps and says, "After I kill you, I will rape your corpse. Don't worry." I'll be gentle. There's one wizard in the
What the fuck?
game who cloned female copies of himself to have his own daughters, which also act as his wives and concubines. And if you don't think that's the hottest shit ever, get the fuck out. Morrowind is my fetish buffet. Case in point, there's a quest where you're tasked with escorting an Argonian slave back from the docks to her master in another city. Immediately upon delivery, the owner and his guards murder and rip open her stomach on the spot, because it turns out you've just been an accomplice for a local drug cartel, helping them bring a body packer whose stomach was filled to the brim with sweet cocaine. There's always politics and intrigue between the great houses of Morrowind, Hlalu, Radorn, and Telvanni, while legally the Empire occupying
Wow, I didn't think he could make it bad, but he made it bad. He made it real bad.
Morrowind doesn't permit slavery. They can't really stop the Telvanni, since they're incredibly powerful and omnipotent ANCAP wizards, and they don't like guests. That's why there's no stairs in Telvanni wizard towers. If you can't levitate like a normal person, you're fucked out of luck. Do you know how you get promoted in Telvanni society?
Tell
You
me.
kill your rivals and assume their position. The court of law there automatically presupposes that if an argument was had and you
This is like Black Templar level of promotion here.
successfully murder the opposing party, then your argument must have had more weight than your enemy. In fact, you can hover up to a Telvanni tower at any point, murder the resident mage and his servants, and you won't be punished for it. It was their fault for having low security anyway. Besides, one of the servants sprayed blood all over my chest, clearly violating my NAP. With enough time, sweat, and cum invested into a faction,
What?
you can climb through the ranks up to the point where you can build and own your own fortress. Of course, the Telvanni just grow their fucking forts out of the ground. But first, you will need the approval of bureaucrats determined to kill you off or make your life living hell
What the hell
before
is
they
he-
grant their sponsorship. Except one. Crassius Curio, counselor of House Hlalu, gives his endorsement for nothing more than a kiss on the cheek. Because he's even offered some of the
When was this made?
books you can read in-game, most of them banned from the public eye for being
What
the
is that
equivalent of
doing?
erotic fan fiction. One of the most famous and sauciest of these is The Real Life of Queen Baranzaya, where Crassius raunchily asserts that the first queen of Morrowind took fat Khajiit dick and, bemusingly, complained how painful barbed cat penises were to insert. There's
Are we for real right now? Is this a thing?
even an in-game explanation for why your character, the Nerevarine, can save and load the game, since we the player can influence the metaphysical force known as Chim in the Elder Scrolls universe, whereby we can live through different timelines and outcomes in parallel. It's for this reason that Vivek, who has reached understanding of Chim, never agrees to fight the player, since no matter how strong or powerful he is, he knows that you can assault him an infinite amount of times, and eventually succeed. But when you're done perusing the story, how is the actual game? Absolutely fucking broken. It's stable 90% of 50% of the time. It's functional, but the combat system is insane. Forget any notion of fair play or balance. If
Okay.
you can exploit something, you should, because the alternative is getting tapped by a bandit carrying an enchanted twig that paralyzes you for 10 seconds straight per strike. My
Wow.
first experience of combat was quite traumatic. I attacked a tiny scrib creature, thinking it's impossible to lose against something so shitty. Instead, it paralyzed me in place and proceeded to slowly nibble me to death while renewing the paralysis whenever it got close to wearing off. Bravo, Todd. The game mechanics are bullshit. Either you adapt to it and bask in its ridiculous glory and enjoy yourself, or you refuse to learn. Die horribly and write angry complaints about it on a Korean basket weaving forum. For example, potions and their effects in this game stack. So let's say I used alchemy to make 200 potions of intelligence. I could simultaneously chug all 200 potions of intelligence and gain infinite knowledge for a few seconds, during which time I'd quickly tab back into my inventory and use alchemy, which scales off intelligence, to craft several thousand restore fatigue potions using bread and rice in a single nanosecond, which would be so amazingly powerful and potent that their individual market price would be enough to completely buy out the entire store catalog of most merchants. And if in the off chance I chose to use them instead, I would have a permanently full bar of stamina for the next few years of my physical life. In a similar manner, I could do this with other effects, such as Fortify Strength, whereby I can smash the final antagonist of a game with a weapon so hard that he and the weapon would cease to exist. But if you just happen to find your friend's Morrowind game open and want to run a funny prank on him for sleeping with a family dog, you can make a potion of paralysis using the same method. From the moment you drink that potion, your character will be paralyzed for about 3 hours. When he comes back and asks why his character can't move, laugh and ask him why the dog keeps crying at night.
Oh my god, will you stop it?
You can use this time to explain him why bestiality is immoral and illegal in most countries, and how the doctor said your dog's orifice will never fully heal. The game's design offers
those of you who requested this, those of you who recommended it, you're all heretics, and the exterminatus will come. Oh my god.
Offers you a lot of freedom to mess around with. The custom spell making in particular can be abused to make some disgusting spells, such as the ability to camouflage yourself perfectly, 100% for 1 millisecond, and steal something right in front of a merchant. But just because they couldn't see you physically taking the object, they can't establish causality between the events happening around them. It's a great game. The environment and atmosphere really capture a very alien landscape and culture, while the dialogue and text keep you occupied for hours on end. Gameplay aside, Morrowind could be described as an early 2000s slave trade RPG, and when you get tired of running around, doing errands and reading shit, you can always download mods or make your own with a construction set and reduce the quality of your experience. A warm thank you to the many members of Akhlalu Merchants Guild, graciously funding these videos against their better judgment.
What? Now the rain's kicking up. What is wrong with this guy? I gotta find out when this was made. 1 second. Okay, so... yeah, that was the Morrowind review by SsethTzeentach. I feel like my soul has been tarnished, and it is all your fault. Why have you done this to me? What did I do? All I can do half the time is just stare at the screen and just befuddled amusement and shock. Okay. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. There's a Discord down below where if you think that you can find something that isn't as horrifyingly bad as this and morally questionable, this is bad. It's like I'm cutting myself on all the edge. Anyhow, I'm out.